As the great Buddha once said, the mind is everything. What you think, you become. Your mind is the root of your entire life. It shapes how you feel, how you act, and what you become. If you feed it negativity, fear, and doubt, your life will reflect that darkness. But if you feed it positivity, gratitude, compassion, and peace, your entire world begins to transform. Most people guard their possessions carefully, but they leave their mind unguarded, open to every toxic influence around them. The truth is simple. Your mind is your greatest treasure. Guard it, train it, and feed it wisely, and it will create a life filled with joy, strength, and freedom. In this video, we will uncover powerful Buddhist lessons that show you exactly how to feed your mind positivity and watch your life transform, because you truly become what you think. 1. Guard your mental diet. Just as your body becomes weak or strong depending on the food you eat, your mind too becomes shaped by what you allow into it. Think about this carefully. If a person eats junk food every single day, eventually their health begins to fail. They feel heavy, tired, and sick because the body has been filled with things that do not nourish it. The exact same law applies to the mind. Your thoughts, the words you listen to, the images you see, and the conversations you participate in are all forms of mental food. Whatever you feed your mind regularly will eventually define the way you think, the way you feel, and the way you act. If you spend hours every day scrolling through social media filled with arguments, scandals, gossip, and fear-driven news, then slowly but surely, your inner world becomes polluted with negativity. You might not even notice it at first, but you start feeling more anxious, more judgmental, and less at peace. The mind absorbs negativity the way the body absorbs unhealthy food. It doesn't show instantly, but over time it builds up and creates suffering. You begin to carry unnecessary weight in the form of anger, jealousy, worry, and fear. Buddhism teaches us mindfulness, which is simply the practice of being deeply aware of what you allow to enter your consciousness. Just as you look at a plate of food and ask yourself, "Is this good for my body?" you must also look at what you feed your mind and ask, "Is this good for my peace? Is this good for my heart?" If the answer is no, then you must choose differently. So what does a healthy mental diet look like? It looks like reading uplifting and wise books that teach you how to live with compassion, strength, and calmness. It looks like listening to teachings that awaken your inner wisdom instead of filling you with fear. It looks like having conversations with people who inspire you, encourage you, and remind you of your best self, instead of those who constantly complain, criticize, and bring you down. Even the spaces you enter are part of this diet. Spending time in nature where your mind breathes fresh air is a form of nourishment. Sitting quietly in meditation, feeding your mind silence, is a form of nourishment. Practicing gratitude each day is food for the soul. Every choice you make is either giving your mind medicine or poison. Remember, your inner world will always reflect what you consume. If you plant seeds of positivity, kindness, and wisdom, your life will bloom with peace and joy. But if you plant seeds of negativity, judgment, and fear, then suffering will grow inside you like weeds in a garden. Guarding your mental diet is not about cutting yourself off from the world. It is about being conscious of what you allow to take root in your mind. By being mindful, you protect your peace, and by protecting your peace, you transform your life. 2. Reframe your thoughts into compassion. Every human being faces situations that trigger anger, frustration, or hurt. Someone insults you, someone rejects you, someone mistreats you, and naturally, the first reaction of the mind is to strike back, to defend, or to hold on to resentment. But here's the truth: carrying anger inside you is like holding fire in your hands. You may think it will burn the other person, but in reality, it only burns you. This is why Buddhism teaches us the art of reframing, of changing the way we see a situation so that the negative energy does not take root inside us. When someone speaks harshly to you, you have two choices. The first is to take their words personally, to let them pierce your heart, and to replay them in your head until they poison your peace. The second is to step back, breathe, and understand this person is suffering. Their words are not truly about me, they are a reflection of their pain. This shift in perspective is not about excusing bad behavior, it is about freeing yourself from being chained to it. Compassion is the tool that allows you to reframe. Instead of thinking, "Why are they hurting me?" you begin to think, "What suffering inside them made them act this way?" When you do this, you take control of your mind. You stop feeding it anger and bitterness, and instead you feed it understanding and patience. Compassion does not mean weakness. In fact, it is the highest form of strength, because it allows you to rise above negativity without being consumed by it. Imagine you are walking through a forest, and a thorn scratches your arm. Do you get angry at the tree? Of course not. You understand that the thorn is simply part of its nature, and you carefully remove it without holding a grudge. In the same way, when people hurt you with words or actions, see them as individuals still trapped in their own struggles. Their thorns are the result of ignorance, pain, or fear. Instead of fighting the thorn, you learn to move with compassion. Buddhism reminds us that reframing our thoughts is like turning poison into medicine. Hatred poisons the mind, but compassion cleanses it. When you practice compassion, you heal not only the relationship, but also yourself. Your heart remains light, your spirit remains free, and you do not carry unnecessary burdens. Reframing is a habit, and like any habit, it requires practice. Start small. The next time someone cuts you off in traffic, instead of reacting with anger, say to yourself, "Maybe they are rushing to help someone in need." The next time someone criticizes you, instead of replaying the pain, think, "Maybe they are projecting their own insecurities." Every time you choose compassion over anger, you are feeding your mind with positivity. And the more you do it, the stronger and calmer your inner world becomes. In the end, you cannot control what others say or do, but you can always control how you frame it inside your mind. When you choose compassion, you rise above the storm, and when you rise above the storm, you protect your peace and transform your life. 3. The power of affirmations and mantras. Words carry energy. They are not just sounds in the air, they are vibrations that shape the way you think, feel, and act. In Buddhism, mantras have been used for centuries as powerful tools to purify the mind and direct it toward clarity and enlightenment. A mantra is not magic, it is focused repetition that reshapes the inner landscape of your consciousness. And in our daily life, affirmations function in the same way. Think of your mind like a garden. Every day, thoughts are planted like seeds. If you allow weeds of self-doubt, fear, and negativity to grow unchecked, they take over the entire space. But if you plant positive, nourishing seeds through affirmations and mantras, the garden begins to flourish with peace, confidence, and resilience. Affirmations are simply conscious reminders that tell your mind what you want it to believe, and over time, the subconscious begins to accept these reminders as truth. When you wake up in the morning and say to yourself, "I am calm, I am strong, I am grateful," you are not just speaking empty words, you are training your mind to look for evidence of these qualities throughout the day. The more you repeat these positive phrases, the more your brain wires itself to support them. Neuroscience now confirms what Buddhism taught long ago. Repetition rewires the mind. Your thoughts literally create new pathways in your brain, shaping the way you see the world. Mantras in Buddhism serve the same function, but carry even deeper spiritual power. For example, The mantra Om Mani Padme Hum is used to cultivate compassion and wisdom. When repeated with mindfulness, it becomes more than sound. It becomes a force that calms the mind, softens the heart, and lifts the spirit. The constant rhythm of a mantra creates inner stillness, much like waves of water smoothing the rough edges of a stone over time. But affirmations and mantras are not only about repeating nice words, they are about aligning your entire being with the energy of those words. If you repeat, "I am at peace," but spend the whole day filling your mind with conflict, then the affirmation cannot take root. Just as a seed needs the right soil, your affirmations need supportive actions to grow. Speak positive words, but also feed your mind positivity through silence, gratitude, and wise choices. It is also important to understand that negative affirmations work too, even if you don't realize it. When you tell yourself, "I am unlucky," "I am not good enough," "nothing ever works for me," your mind listens. It starts to filter the world to confirm those beliefs, attracting more negativity into your life. That is why guarding your inner dialogue is crucial. Your mind is always listening, even to the words you say silently to yourself. The beauty of affirmations and mantras is that they are simple yet powerful. You don't need money, status, or special tools to practice them. You only need consistency. Choose 1 or 2 positive affirmations that resonate deeply with you and repeat them every day with conviction. In time, you will notice that your self-talk changes, your energy changes, and even your circumstances begin to shift. Buddhism teaches that the mind is like a mirror. It reflects whatever is placed before it. If you place negativity before the mirror, negativity shines back. If you place positivity, compassion, and hope before it, those qualities will radiate through your life. Affirmations and mantras are simply the practice of choosing consciously what you place before the mirror of your mind. When practiced daily, this habit becomes a shield against the negativity of the world. It becomes a source of strength during hard times, and it becomes a reminder of the inner power you already possess. The more you feed your mind these uplifting vibrations, the more your life transforms from within. 4. Practice gratitude as mental nourishment. Gratitude is not just saying thank you when something good happens. Gratitude is a way of seeing the world, a way of training the mind to focus on what is present instead of what is missing. Buddhism teaches that suffering often arises from craving, our endless desire for more, for something different, for something better than what we have. The mind is constantly reaching forward, saying, "If only I had this, then I would be happy." But the truth is, happiness is not found in getting everything you want. Happiness is found in appreciating what you already have. Gratitude is the antidote to craving. It is mental nourishment that fills the heart with peace. Think of a person who spends their entire life chasing after things, a bigger house, a newer car, more recognition, more money. No matter what they achieve, it is never enough. The hunger never ends. Why? Because their mind is trained to focus only on what they lack. Now imagine another person with far less, but who wakes up each morning and says, "I am grateful for this breath. I am grateful for my health. I am grateful for the people who love me." That person may have little in material wealth but holds great abundance in the heart. Gratitude transforms ordinary moments into extraordinary ones. Gratitude also changes the way we experience challenges. Instead of looking at difficulties as punishments, we can learn to see them as teachers. For example, losing a job may seem like pure suffering at first, but gratitude allows us to see the hidden lessons. It may push us to discover new skills, explore new paths, or build resilience. Gratitude does not mean ignoring pain. It means finding the wisdom and growth hidden within it. In Buddhism, even suffering can be a source of gratitude because it awakens compassion and teaches us the impermanence of all things. Practicing gratitude daily is like feeding your mind a steady diet of positivity. When you wake up and list 3 things you are thankful for, you start the day with a mind that is already nourished. When you go to bed and reflect on the blessings of the day, whether it was a kind word, a smile, or the warmth of sunlight, you sleep with a heart that is at peace. These small practices accumulate, and over time they rewire your mind to focus on abundance rather than lack. Science now confirms what ancient wisdom always knew: gratitude improves mental health, reduces stress, and increases happiness. The brain begins to filter reality differently. It stops obsessing over what is missing and starts noticing what is already present. The more you train your mind to recognize blessings, the more blessings you begin to see. Gratitude multiplies because attention creates reality. But gratitude is not just about thoughts, it is also about actions. When you feel thankful for your parents, show it by spending time with them. When you feel thankful for your health, show it by taking care of your body. When you feel thankful for the food you eat, show it by not wasting it. Gratitude becomes most powerful when it is lived, not just spoken. In Buddhist practice, monks often begin their meals with a reflection of gratitude, not only for the food, but also for the countless beings who made it possible: the farmer who planted the seed, the rain that nourished it, the hands that harvested it, the cook who prepared it. This practice reminds us that nothing exists in isolation. Gratitude is not just personal, it is universal. It connects us to everything around us and reminds us of the interdependence of life. When you make gratitude your daily nourishment, the mind becomes naturally content. It stops running after endless desires. It stops comparing, and it stops complaining. Instead, it rests in the fullness of the present moment. Gratitude feeds the soul with peace, joy, and humility, and this nourishment transforms not only the way you think, but also the way you live. So feed your mind gratitude every day. Begin with simple words: thank you for this breath, thank you for this day, thank you for this moment. With time you will realize that gratitude is not something you practice occasionally, it becomes the very lens through which you see life. And when life is seen through the eyes of gratitude, it becomes a gift, no matter the circumstance. 5. Mindful silence clears the mental field. In our modern world, silence has become one of the rarest treasures. Everywhere we go, we are surrounded by noise: phones buzzing with notifications, televisions shouting news, music playing in the background, people constantly talking. Even when the outside world is quiet, our minds often remain restless, filled with endless chatter. Thoughts race, memories replay, worries about the future arise, and the mind becomes like a crowded marketplace. Without silence, the mind cannot breathe. Without silence, we cannot hear the wisdom within us. Buddhism teaches that silence is not emptiness but nourishment. Just as a farmer clears weeds from a field so that new plants can grow, silence clears the mental field so that peace and clarity can arise. It is in silence that we notice the subtle movements of the mind. We begin to see how quickly a thought arises, how it lingers, and how it passes away. Without silence, we remain caught in the storm of thoughts. But with silence, we step back and see the storm for what it is: temporary, passing, and without true power over us. Silence does not mean the absence of sound. It means the absence of unnecessary noise inside. You can be sitting in a noisy street, and yet your mind can be quiet like a still lake. On the other hand, you can be in a perfectly quiet room, yet your thoughts may be so loud that you feel overwhelmed. True silence is inner silence. It is the state where you are not controlled by the chatter of the mind. Instead, you are simply present, breathing, observing, and resting in awareness. Practicing mindful silence can be simple yet profound. You might begin with a few minutes of sitting quietly each day, closing your eyes and focusing on your breath. At first, the mind will resist. It will throw thoughts at you, reminding you of things to do, past mistakes or future worries. This is natural, but if you remain still and simply watch these thoughts without chasing them, you will see them dissolve, just as clouds dissolve in the vastness of the sky. The more you practice, the more silence begins to grow within you. Silence is powerful because it gives the mind rest. Imagine a computer that never shuts down. It becomes overheated, slow, and filled with errors. In the same way, a mind that is constantly running without pause becomes anxious, confused, and exhausted. Silence is the shutdown and restart that refreshes the mind. It allows you to think more clearly, to see situations with greater wisdom, and to feel emotions without being controlled by them. In Buddhism, many monks spend hours in meditation, not because they are escaping life, but because they are entering the deepest form of life, awareness itself. Silence is the gateway to this awareness. In silence, you realize that you are not your thoughts. You are the one who observes the thoughts. And in that realization lies freedom, because once you know you are not your thoughts, you are no longer a prisoner of them. Silence also deepens your connection with others. When you listen in silence, truly listen, without interrupting or preparing what to say next, you begin to understand people more deeply. Your presence itself becomes healing. Sometimes offering silence to someone in pain is far more powerful than offering words. Silence allows space for hearts to connect. Nature is a great teacher of silence. Sit beside a river, walk in a forest, or watch the stars at night, and you will feel a natural quietness arising inside you. The trees do not hurry, the river does not argue, the stars do not boast. They exist in stillness, and in their silence, they remind us of our own. When we align ourselves with that natural silence, our minds begin to reflect it, and peace returns. Feeding your mind silence is as important as feeding your body food. Without it, the mind becomes heavy and restless. With it, the mind becomes light, clear, and balanced. Silence does not mean you must withdraw from the world or avoid responsibilities. It means you give yourself regular moments of pause, where you return to your center, breathe deeply, and remember who you are beyond the noise. So make silence a daily practice. Wake up in the morning and spend a few minutes in quiet awareness before the world begins to demand your attention. At night, close your day in silence, reflecting peacefully instead of rushing into sleep with a restless mind. Throughout the day, take small silent pauses between conversations, between tasks, between breaths. In these pauses, you will discover that silence is not empty at all. It is full of wisdom, full of healing, and full of life. When you learn to embrace mindful silence, your inner world transforms. The weeds of negativity and confusion slowly fade, and in their place grow peace, clarity, and joy. Silence is the soil in which positivity blossoms. Protect it, nourish it, and let it heal you. 6. Surround yourself with positive energy. The people and environments you surround yourself with are like the air you breathe for your mind and soul. If the air is clean and fresh, it strengthens you, fills you with vitality, and helps you thrive. But if the air is polluted, toxic, and heavy, it weakens you, making every breath a burden. In the same way, the energy of the people around you and the spaces you inhabit play a powerful role in shaping your thoughts, your emotions, and even your destiny. Buddhism teaches the importance of Sangha, the community of spiritual companions who walk the path together. The Buddha himself reminded us that good companionship is not just part of the spiritual life, but the whole of it, because human beings naturally mirror the energy of those they are closest to. If you are around people who constantly complain, criticize, gossip, or feed their minds with negativity, then little by little, you begin to adopt those same patterns. Their energy seeps into you like smoke filling a room. Even if you try not to breathe it in, eventually it affects you. On the other hand, when you walk with those who practice kindness, gratitude, mindfulness, and compassion, their energy uplifts you. It inspires you to rise higher, to act with more wisdom, and to see life through a lens of possibility instead of limitation. Their presence becomes a mirror of what you can become. Just as fire spreads from one candle to another, positivity spreads from one heart to another when we keep good company. Surrounding yourself with positive energy does not mean avoiding people who are struggling or turning away from those who suffer. Compassion calls us to be there for others, but it does mean being mindful of balance. If someone constantly drains your energy, leaves you feeling heavy, or pulls you away from your values, then you must protect your inner peace. Otherwise, you will have nothing left to give. Just as you cannot pour water from an empty cup, you cannot uplift others if you have allowed yourself to be completely drained by negativity. Look carefully at your relationships. Ask yourself, do the people around me encourage my growth, or do they hold me back? Do they celebrate my progress, or do they secretly resent it? Do they remind me of my values, or do they tempt me to abandon them? These are hard but necessary questions. The answers will reveal whether your circle is nourishing your soul or starving it. But positive energy is not only about people, it is also about places. Think about how you feel when you enter a cluttered, chaotic room compared to a clean, quiet, and peaceful one. The environment itself carries energy. That is why Buddhist temples are often designed with simplicity and calmness, filled with soft light, natural beauty, and open space. Such environments feed the mind's serenity. You can create this in your own life too. Your home, your workspace, and even your digital space can be designed to reflect peace rather than chaos. A small corner for meditation, a few minutes without your phone, or a daily walk in nature can become powerful sources of positive energy. Positive energy also comes from the choices you make every day. The music you listen to, the shows you watch, the books you read, and the conversations you engage in all shape the atmosphere of your mind. If you want to live in light, then you must choose light. If you want your thoughts to be calm and strong, then you must feed them with things that reflect calmness and strength. In Buddhism, there is a saying, if you want to know your future, look at your present surroundings. The people and environments you allow into your life are shaping who you are becoming. Choose carefully. Walk with those who uplift you, and in turn become someone who uplifts others. Create spaces that reflect peace, and in turn, you will carry that peace into the world. When you surround yourself with positive energy, your burdens feel lighter, your challenges seem less overwhelming, and your heart feels stronger. You are reminded that you are not alone, that there are others walking the same path toward wisdom and joy. Together you build each other, strengthen each other, and carry each other toward a better life. So be mindful of your circle, be mindful of your spaces, and most importantly, be mindful of the energy you yourself bring to others. Because surrounding yourself with positivity is not only about receiving, it is about becoming a source of light that makes others feel uplifted when they are with you. In this way, positive energy multiplies endlessly, transforming not just your life, but the lives of all around you. 7. Visualize the life you want to live. The mind has an incredible ability. It does not fully distinguish between what is vividly imagined and what is actually experienced. This is why visualization is such a powerful tool in both Buddhist practice and modern psychology. When you consistently picture yourself living with peace, kindness, and joy, your mind begins to accept that vision as reality. Slowly, your thoughts, emotions, and actions start to align with the image you carry inside. In other words, What you see within, you eventually create without. Visualization is not daydreaming or empty wishing. It is a conscious and mindful practice of directing your mental energy toward the life you want to manifest. In Buddhism, visualization is often used to prepare the mind for enlightenment. Monks and practitioners imagine themselves embodying compassion, wisdom, or the qualities of a bodhisattva. They see themselves as already living in peace, already free from anger, already filled with compassion. By holding these images with deep focus, the qualities begin to take root in the heart. You can use this same practice in your daily life. If you want to live with confidence, begin each day by picturing yourself walking tall, speaking clearly, and radiating self-assurance. If you want to live with kindness, visualize yourself responding to conflict with patience, offering gentle words, and carrying a calm presence. If you want to build a life of success and balance, picture yourself already living in that state, not in some distant future, but right now in this moment. The more vivid and consistent your visualization, the more your subconscious mind begins to believe it, and once the mind believes something, it naturally shapes reality to match it. Think about how athletes prepare before a major competition. Many of them use visualization. A runner will close their eyes and imagine each stride, each breath, each moment of crossing the finish line. A musician might visualize every note of a performance before stepping on stage. Science shows that when they do this, their brain activates in the same way as if they were physically performing the action. The body prepares for what the mind envisions. The same principle applies to your life. By visualizing who you want to be and how you want to live, you prepare your mind and body to make it real. But visualization is most powerful when combined with positivity. If you spend your time imagining failure, rejection, or disappointment, then your mind will start to create those outcomes as well. That is why it is so important to feed your visualizations with light, not darkness. When you close your eyes, see yourself overcoming obstacles, not being defeated by them. See yourself surrounded by supportive people, not isolated by negativity. See yourself calm in chaos, strong in struggle, and joyful in simplicity. What you choose to see inside will guide how you act outside. Visualization also teaches patience. Sometimes, the life you want will not arrive instantly. The seeds you plant in your mind need time to grow. Just as a farmer does not plant seeds one day and expect to harvest the next, you must nurture your vision daily with consistency. Return to it each morning, refresh it each evening, and hold it gently throughout the day. Over time, your actions will naturally align with the vision, and your life will begin to mirror the picture you have painted within. In Buddhism, there is a phrase, "As you think, so you become." Visualization is the conscious act of choosing those thoughts carefully and shaping them with intention. It is like drawing a map for your future. Without it, you wander aimlessly, but with it, every step you take has direction. So ask yourself, what do I want my life to look like? Who do I want to become? Once you have the answer, close your eyes and see it clearly. See yourself as already living that life. Feel the emotions, hear the sounds, notice the details. The more real it feels in your mind, the more real it will become in your reality. When you practice visualization daily, your mind becomes a powerful ally instead of a restless enemy. It stops dragging you back to past regrets or pushing you forward into fearful futures. Instead, it works with you, shaping your present moment into the life you choose. And the truth is simple: you become what you think. Visualize peace, and you will live in peace. Visualize strength, and you will grow stronger. Visualize compassion, and your heart will naturally overflow with it. Visualization is not about controlling the future. It is about training your mind to create the best version of yourself here and now. When your inner vision is clear, your outer life will transform. Feed your mind the images of the life you want, and you will find that the boundaries of possibility are far wider than you ever imagined. 8. Train your mind with daily mindfulness practices. If positivity is the food of the mind, then mindfulness is the practice of digestion. Without mindfulness, the thoughts you feed yourself, no matter how good, cannot be fully absorbed. They pass through quickly, leaving little impact. But with mindfulness, every positive thought, every moment of gratitude, and every visualization becomes deeply rooted in your consciousness. Buddhism places mindfulness at the very heart of transformation, because it is the key that turns wisdom into lived reality. So what is mindfulness? It is simply the art of being present, fully aware of this moment without judgment or distraction. It means paying attention to your breath as you inhale and exhale. It means noticing your thoughts without being carried away by them. It means eating your food slowly, tasting each bite, instead of rushing through a meal while your mind is elsewhere. It means listening to someone not just with your ears, but with your whole presence. When you practice mindfulness daily, you begin to notice something extraordinary. Your mind quiets down. The endless chatter, the regrets about the past, the worries about the future, all of it begins to soften. You learn to anchor yourself in the now, and in the now there is always peace. The present moment is the only reality that truly exists, and mindfulness brings you back to it again and again. This matters because negativity cannot thrive in the present. Anger often comes from replaying the past, what someone said, what someone did, the mistakes you made. Fear often comes from imagining the future, what might go wrong, what might not work out. But here and now, in this exact moment, you are simply breathing, alive, and safe. Mindfulness feeds your mind the truth of the present, and the truth is almost always less frightening than the illusions created by thought. Mindfulness is also how you catch negative seeds before they grow. For example, when someone says something unkind, your first reaction might be anger. If you are not mindful, that anger takes root immediately. It grows into resentment, perhaps even into harmful words or actions. But if you are mindful, you notice the spark of anger the moment it arises. You pause, breathe, and ask yourself, do I want to water this seed of anger, or do I want to let it die here? With practice, you choose not to feed it. You choose peace instead of pain. This is how mindfulness transforms your life, not by eliminating problems, but by giving you the wisdom to respond to them differently. There are many simple ways to practice mindfulness every day. When you wake up, take a few minutes to sit quietly and notice your breath before you touch your phone or begin your tasks. As you eat, slow down, chew carefully, and really taste the food. This not only nourishes your body, but also teaches your mind to be present. As you walk, feel each step touching the ground, as if you are kissing the earth with your feet. As you speak, notice your words before they leave your mouth, making sure they are gentle and kind. Buddhism teaches that mindfulness is like a lamp in a dark room. Without it, the mind stumbles blindly, bumping into suffering at every corner. With it, the path becomes illuminated, and you can walk with clarity. The more you train your mind to be mindful, the more naturally positivity takes root. Gratitude, compassion, patience, and joy all grow stronger when they are nurtured in the soil of mindfulness. But mindfulness is not only for quiet moments. The real test is bringing mindfulness into challenges. When you are in conflict, can you remain aware of your emotions instead of being consumed by them? When you are overwhelmed, can you stop and breathe instead of rushing blindly forward? When you are sad, can you sit with your sadness, acknowledge it, and let it pass like a cloud instead of drowning in it? These practices are not easy, but they are deeply transformative. In truth, mindfulness is the bridge between wisdom and action. It is how the teachings of positivity, compassion and gratitude move from ideas in your head to lived realities in your daily life. Without mindfulness, positivity remains fragile. With mindfulness, positivity becomes unshakable. So train your mind every day with mindfulness. Begin with just a few minutes and let it grow into a natural way of living. The more present you become, the more alive you feel. And when you are fully alive in each moment, negativity loses its grip and positivity flows like an endless river within you. Your mind is the most powerful tool you will ever possess. It can either be your greatest enemy or your greatest friend, depending on how you choose to feed it. If you fill it with fear, doubt, negativity and distraction, your life will mirror that chaos. But if you nourish it with positivity, gratitude, compassion, silence and vision, your life will bloom with peace and strength. Buddhism reminds us that everything begins within. The world you see outside is a reflection of the world you cultivate inside. Think back to the lessons we have explored: guarding your mental diet, reframing negativity into compassion, feeding your heart with affirmations and mantras, practicing gratitude as daily nourishment, embracing silence, surrounding yourself with positive energy, visualizing the life you want, and training your mind with mindfulness. Each of these lessons is like a seed. When planted with care and practiced with consistency, they grow into a garden of resilience, wisdom, and joy. Transformation does not happen overnight. Just as a tree takes time to grow, your mind takes time to change. But every thought you choose, every perspective you reframe, every moment of silence you honor, every visualization you hold, they all add up. Slowly but surely, your life begins to transform. You walk with more peace. You face challenges with more strength. You love with more compassion. And you live with more awareness. Remember the Buddha's timeless words: we are shaped by our thoughts. We become what we think. This is not just a teaching, it is a truth that reveals itself in every moment of your life. You are becoming the very thoughts you feed yourself today, so choose wisely. Choose positivity, choose compassion, choose gratitude, choose silence, choose vision, choose mindfulness. The path is not about becoming someone else, it is about becoming the best version of yourself, the self that was always there beneath the layers of fear and doubt. Feed your mind positivity and watch how your life begins to shift. Watch how relationships grow stronger, how challenges feel lighter, and how your heart feels more at peace. This is the gift of training the mind, freedom. So from this moment forward, make a promise to yourself. I will guard my mind. I will feed it with light. I will not let negativity rule me. I will walk the path of awareness. Because once you master your mind, you master your life. And when your mind is filled with positivity, your life becomes a reflection of peace, joy, and transformation.